Today's video is sponsored by OneFootball. Get all the latest updates from the Premier League and hundreds of other top fixtures from around the world, as well as the latest scores, videos, fixtures, stats, and more for everything related to football. Link is in the description. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So finally got down to sit down to get this stadium server tutorial going. Alright, now there are already a few out there that I've seen, but the one that I saw, there was no talking in it, and I like to explain what exactly is going on. So this is the actual thread. I'll leave all the links in the description, but this is the thread on EvoWeb where you get all those stadiums, okay? So you'll want to download pretty much whatever you need. So we've got the MJTS pack, okay? This one's got a lot. We've got Old Trafford, Allianz Arena, Signal Iduna Park, etc. And then you've got all these different downloads for those. So I've downloaded these. Like I said, you can just follow along and grab the links in the description. Alright, so you go in here, you download whatever you need to download. Like I said, absolute bucket load of them now. We've got English, Scottish, German, French, Italian. There's even some Turkish ones in there. Was this from Iceland as well? So there's a lot, okay? A lot to choose from. So check that out if you want. I'll link it in the description. We've also got the update. If you want to check out exactly where to get these, you can get them from here as well. There are passwords to extract these, so I will leave those in the link as well, the description. So obviously make sure you put those in correctly. And then you have the stadium server itself. If you ever want to read anything about it, there is a really nice, a lot of depth, a lot of information about it. It's a little bit confusing if you don't know what you're doing, but that's why I'm here. So you guys can hopefully follow along. This is the way I did it. It may not be 100% right, but it works. So yeah, let's dive into it. So the first thing you'll want to do is download everything you need. Okay, set it up however you want. But I've deleted my stadium server. Everything is fresh, apart from having all the other mods. But this is strictly for the stadium server itself. So you'll need the stadiums, first of all, and then you will need to use the CRI packed FileMaker, because we are going to be extracting these CPKs. I'm doing it a different way, because that's how the stadium server works. So the first thing we'll do is make this a little bit smaller, and we'll open up the PES folder. Okay, so here we go. There's my copy of PES. As you can see, we've got no stadium server in here. I've deleted it. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is you go to the stadium server itself, download that. It's in the description. You're going to want to find version 1 because you need V1 before you add the version 1.25. Simply grab these two files and put them into the root folder. Okay, it's as simple as that. It's going to copy over. There we have it. Content, and then modules is going to add. What it's going to add is weather conditions and stadium server. Those are the two files it's going to add to modules. And then content is completely different. They're just new structures. You've got stadium server with some files, some config files, and then weather conditions has a map as well. So that's that out the way. Very, very simple. We'll open up the next one, version 1.25. We'll simply grab those and we'll place that into the root as well. And we'll replace the files that are needed. So there we go. That's step number 1. Easy as pie and job done there. Now, you don't necessarily need this file. I don't use commentary, as you guys know, so it's not relevant for me. This is just for, like, stadium commentary. If you want to use it, you can put it in there. I'll do it for the purpose of this tutorial, but normally, you know, I'm not really worried about it. Okay, so next up, we will go into Cider, right here, the configuration file. We've seen this many, many times, and this was actually a problem people had in my last tutorial, just to go over. If you install the new Cider 5.13, which you need, by the way, for this to work, so make sure you get the updated version. It is linked in my newer tutorial. You have to have these files in there for Evo Switcher to work. If you don't have these, it will not be able to find them, and that's why you're not getting the scoreboards, that's why you're not getting the entrance, the music, and all that, okay? So make sure you have those in there. So the next step, we have to add a Lua.module folder or file near the top of the module section. So we are going to be going right here. This is where we need to add this. I could probably get rid of this graphics mod one, actually. And that's what you need to type in. I'll leave it in the description. Just copy and paste it. Okay, simple as that. But these have to be at the top. I actually already have them in there from before, so I'll delete them. But that's what you need, okay? There's the first one. Always has to be at the top of the CIDR configuration Lua.module. Has to be at the top. Next, we are going to add the weather conditions. So we'll hit enter, we'll copy and paste, and there we have it. That goes directly below it. Okay, now we actually have to disable a couple of scripts if they're in there for you in CIDR or this file itself. As you can see right here, this one I've already added. This has to be disabled. Okay, to disable any of these files, you just put a little semicolon before it. Okay, so you're going to put the semicolon before the evostadium.luia. L-U-A, not L-U-I-A. Okay, so you're going to disable that one because it will conflict with it otherwise. And if you have another file or folder with weather conditions, you're going to have to disable that as well. Okay, so this one is fine, leave them, but any Evo switcher files that have Evo Stadium or Evo Weather, you have to disable them. Okay, and if you want to know where I got that information from, right here, you can see, make sure to remove or comment out with this sign any other references to weather conditions or Evo switcher / Evo Weather. Okay, so that is important. Make sure you do that, like I showed you right here, when you're adding these files in. Okay, so we'll go to the top now. Because we've added the commentary names, like I said, I don't use it. It doesn't bother me. I don't worry about it, but for the sake of this tutorial, we will do it. This is the folder, or not folder, I keep saying folder, the file you'll add. Okay, you'll simply copy cpk.root equals blah blah, and then you put stadium server.static. I mean, this is the same directory as this one right here. Okay, so add that in if you want the commentary names. If you don't want them, don't worry about it. But if you do, that's what you do. Now we'll hit File Save because that is done. Okay, and we'll close out and just make sure that it's worked. Double click, check everything's in there. Yes, it is. Looks good to me. And we exit. Okay, so now we are going to start extracting the stadiums and putting them into the correct folders. This is where the fun stuff starts to happen, and this is where you have to get it right, otherwise you won't have anything in your game. So let's go to the stadium folder here. We'll go into MJTS stadiums, and we'll basically start extracting these. Okay, so we'll start with the Etihad. We'll right click, extract here. Sure, why not do it here? Now we need a password. The passwords I've actually put right here. I'll leave them in the description as well, so you don't have to go searching for them. I've done all that hard work for you. Make sure you type these in and you do not copy and paste. It does not work with WinRAR. And you will need WinRAR or some sort of extraction to be able to get these files. It is free, so don't worry about that. Hit enter and you are good to go, and there it is. So we'll do the same thing for all of them. So this is Stamford Bridge, which is hashtag NEWSB. And then we'll do the Bernabeu, which is right there, which is RESPECT. You know what that song is, I'm sure you do. And finally, the big one. This will take a little bit longer because it's about 1.3 gig in size. That one is hashtag PES 2019. Boom. So there we have it. So now we've got all our CPK files nicely extracted and ready to roll. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head into content. Okay, this folder right here, we're going to go to Stadium Server, and as you can see right now, we just have these 3 folders or 3 files, which is not enough. This is where we're going to start adding all the stadiums, but we have to use the generator to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to right click new folder, and I'm going to type in MJTS pack, all right, because that's his stadiums, that's his pack. This is probably the hardest part because there's so many stadiums, some people don't know how to add all these sort of in one folder, whereas when you're adding Goodison Park, Craven Cottage, it's easy because it's just one stadium. So what we're going to do now, I'm actually going to create another folder on the desktop just to make this easier. Actually, you know what? I could have just done this in the first place and ignored this, but it's fine. We'll just name this the same. MJTS pack. Okay, so we have that right there. We're going to go ahead and open up CRI packed file maker. So there it is. Beautiful. Now, simple case of dragging and dropping. So, and you can see we also have a Stadium Pack update DP4. I'll leave that. That's for the latest update to fix a few little niggles. So we'll start with the main one. Okay, start with the main file and folder because this was created first. Drag that into your pack file maker. And there you go. All the files are in. We're going to hit this little diamond extraction. And then we're going to go to this folder, MJTS pack. Click OK. Output the internal files. Yes, thank you very much. And there we go. The little bar follows along. And Bob's your uncle. Completed. Okay. Now, I don't know how you exactly do a new one on here. So what I normally do, I just close out of it and then I reopen the file. It's not hard. It's not difficult. But now when we go to this folder, you can see we have an asset and a common. Okay, these are important, but we'll get to those afterwards. So the way I do it, like I said before, it may not be 100% correct, but it works. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go open this one up, and I'm just going to click on this one and copy these in, okay? Or drag them. Could probably drag them, actually. We'll drag these in here. Okay, now that's fine. I don't really care that it's gone. Actually, I want it gone because I want a clean folder. Okay, so that's the first step done. MJTS pack, 2 files, asset common. Done. Now we're going to do the same thing for all the other stadiums. So we'll open up the pack maker again. This time we will do... I don't know if it matters 100%, but I will, just for the sake of this, to make sure it's 100% right, I will make sure that we do them in the correct order. So I'm going to follow it here. I'm going to do the Bernabeu, then I'm going to do Stamford Bridge, then I'm going to do the Etihad. I don't think it matters, but to be safe, we'll do it that way. So we'll grab the Bernabeu, and we'll put this in here. And it's the same process as before. Hit the diamond, find this folder, hit OK, yes. This one will be quicker, and that one is done. Now I'm going to go back to this folder once more. Go into your main folder and copy and paste them over. And when it asks to overwrite the files, yes, you can. Alright, so that is done. And we will continue. So we're pretty much just doing that over and over again. For this, you just need to overwrite the files. And now I've kind of forgotten which one we were looking at. So I did the Bernabeu, Stamford Bridge, then the Etihad. Okay, so now we'll do Stamford Bridge, which is SB. Put that in there. Click the diamond. Back to the folder. Yes. And it's done. So we'll do the same deal. It shouldn't be too confusing. I mean, you're literally just doing the same thing over and over again. Once again, we will replace those files. So we'll open up the final one here. And this time it is going to be the Etihad. Click the extract button, put it in the same folder. Yes, okay. And then we'll take these and put them in the main folder, overwriting them once again. So now we have all those stadiums, plus the Etihad, plus Stamford Bridge, plus the Bernabeu. They're set up. We'll have to put some code in afterwards, but that is the folder structure, okay? That is done. Actually, no, it's not done, because let's do this update file. We're going to have to do the same deal with that one. Either way. So it's going to be a very small file. Put it back into MJTS pack. And of course, I'll show you that it's worked after this, and I'll show you how to use them. So we go back to here, grab these two, put them in there, replace, and that's going to update the game, update the files, and it's done. So now we can go back and we can do the other stadiums that I have here. I don't know if I'm going to do all 5 of them, because you kind of get the gist of them, but I do a couple. So if we do Goodison Park, we need to actually we need to extract it right here. So we'll just extract files here. It's much easier. So there we have Goodison Park. So we're going to do not the same thing, because you can see these are already done for you, which is perfect. All we have to do is pretty much copy this and paste it in. So there we have it. Now I would rename this, because renaming it just makes it easier. So I'm just going to call this Goodison Park with nothing else in there. Okay? Simple as that. And then we'll do the Craven Cottage. Now you know how to do it as well. If it is a CPK file, you do exactly the same thing that I showed you before. Just double click, make sure it isn't a CPK file. We'll put this one in here. And we'll go ahead and rename this. This one says FU. I don't know if that's personal or trying to have a joke with me. St. James's Park. Extract those files. Copy that over. And then we will delete that and delete the first bit. Make sure that is, yep, there it is. Always has to be asset and comment, always. And we'll do one more just for the hell of it. So extract here. Grab St. Mary's Stadium. Delete that part and delete the front. And there we go. Okay, so now we have Craven Cottage, Goodison Park, the pack itself, St. James's and St. Mary's. So the next part is if you want to basically assign these stadiums to the different teams so that they play there when you select them. Okay, now normally I double check before I start a match which team is playing which stadium just to make sure 100%. But what you want to do is open up map teams. You can use anything to open it up with. I use Notepad because it's just standard. So right now you can see this is already done for you. Okay, the pack itself is already done. But what you need to do is uncomment these. Once they have the hashtag before them, it means they're not enabled, pretty much. So we'll go ahead and we'll just get rid of all these hashtags. And there we go. That is done. And then we just start adding our own packs. You can see the folder structure that we have. I believe these are the IDs. Then we've got Old Trafford, which is the stadium name. And then this is the folder name. So because I called this MJTS pack right here, that's what we want to do. So if we're going to start adding the rest of them, I'll show you right now how we are going to name them. Okay, so I've downloaded another file that you may need if you want to basically find out IDs and everything else. Here it is right here. I'll leave the link in the description as always. And basically, what you're going to need to do is this. So we're going to open this up. Here is the file. I'm going to just copy that over so it actually doesn't need to be extracted. We just have it right here. Now, we're going to open up a file called PES 2019 Editor. What this does is it shows you which team has which ID, which is very important. So as you can see, it says load your edit file. So you just have to go to your edit file, go to Documents, Konami, PES, gibberish bunch of numbers, save, and then find your edit file. Right here. Okay, so we're going to open that up. Click OK. And there we have it. So it has loaded. As you can see, the data has been loaded successfully. We can go to Teams real quick. It does take a little bit of time to load sometimes. So let's move this over, make it a little bit smaller. And we'll move this out of the way real quick as well. So we have Craven Cottage, Goodison Park, St. James's and St. Mary's. So obviously if you're looking at Craven Cottage, right, you're looking at Fulham. Alright, so we are basically just going to go in here and we're going to type in Fulham. So their team ID is number 178. Very important. That's the number that we're looking for. Now to find the next number, okay, so 178 is the first ID. To find the next one, you simply have to go into the folder, Asset, Module, Background, and then it has an ST009. That's what we want as well. Okay, so every single kind of team or whatever has an ID. These are all the same, so it makes it easy for us. ST009, St. James's Park is the same deal. Alright, so this is pretty much what you guys need to do. I'm going to do the hard work for you because I'm that nice. So if we're going to do the likes of, well, Everton with Goodison Park, you'd simply put this in, okay, right here. 177, because that is their team ID. Alright, if we went to this and we typed in Everton, 177, there it is. And then after that, we put 009. It always has to be 3 digits, 009. And then after that, we have Goodison Park and Goodison Park. You have to put it twice, okay? It has to be twice. Job done. Next up, Craven Cottage, you guys already saw, was 178. So on the next line, we'll put 178009 Craven Cottage, exactly like that. And then for the final two, you will put 106, because that's what Newcastle are. 009 St James's Park. Now, depending on if you have a dot, I actually added a dot. So we got to put a dot in there, otherwise it won't recognize it. And finally, we had Southampton with St Mary's Stadium. So we will go ahead and add that one as well, and that's also got a dot. It has to line up exactly. It's got to be spot on, otherwise it will not register it. So there we go. You start doing that for all the stadiums, and then you're done. You're set up, you're finished. There's a bit of OCD kicking in, so let's let that nice and lined up. And there we have it. So we go in, file, save, and this part is done. Now, there are other files, as you can see. There's map competitions. You can play around with this. You know, I'm not 100% with all this, and I don't really worry too much, because personally, I set the stadiums up myself before I start a match, so I'm not really worried about auto-assigning. But you can do this if you want. If you want to make it that every Premier League team plays, as you basically can read this. It says, all teams without real home ground will play their EPL matches either at Old Trafford or at Stamford Bridge. So everyone will play at those two stadiums if you want, because they're based in England. If you want to have that, just take these hashtags out. Okay, I don't. I'd rather have a little bit more randomness in my matches, so I've left it as default. But if you want to take those out and use it, you're more than welcome to do so. If you want the Champions League to work as well and have the final Champions League match at the Wanda Metropolitano, you have to put this in. Okay, uncomment the following line. Simply take that out, and that way the Champions League final will be played at the official place. And you can, just play around with it. You can read this and learn more information. I kind of just leave it alone. As long as the stadiums work, I'm happy. But that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. You should now have a content folder. The modules should be updated. You should have an updated cider folder as well. And you're pretty much good to go. So now we're going to dive into the game. Make sure you have the updated cider 5.13 installed as well. And it should work. So let's dive into PES and check it out. Okay, so we're now on PES 2019. Let's dive into an exhibition match. And I'll show you guys that it works an absolute treat. So let's quickly do the live update, blah, blah, blah. Not really worried too much about it. Doesn't matter with the live update or not, it will work. So we'll go to Premier League. So let's say we were going to do Goodison Park. So we'll do Everton Crystal Palace. Now, the one thing you will notice, no, it will not show up in the stadium thing itself. I mean, it says Goodison Park here, but that's because of my option file. If I load it through this, it will not work. It's as simple as that. You'll see that we don't have any of the new stadiums in here. That's fine. I'm not too worried about it because you can only have a set amount. But if we hit the space bar, as you can see now, we have stadium server.lua. That's popped up. Okay, we can hit 1 still to cycle through the Evo switches that we needed, but we don't need to worry about those. Now, you can see it says press 9 to switch between using map assignments and all that. So what you'll want to do is go and hit 9. And you can see right at the bottom, selection mode, manual. Manually selected stadium currently is the Allianz Arena. If we hit page down, we can cycle through all the stadiums. And as you can see, every single one we've added is there. Craven Cottage, Etihad, Goodison Park, Old Trafford, Olympic Stadium Berlin, the Bernabeu, Signal, St James's Park. Okay, they're all there. They are all there and they will work. So let's go to Goodison Park. If you want to change the weather as well and force that, you can do that with 3, 4, 5, and 6. Or you can actually do it in game. It doesn't really matter. So we will hit spacebar. So leave this alone. It doesn't matter that this says anything else. It's still going to load, as you can see, Goodison Park. Okay, but we can change. So if we go nighttime, summer, rainy, and start the match, you will see. So there it is. As you can see, we have Goodison Park looking the part. It is raining. This is actually going to be running at 30 FPS because I forgot to switch it back. So it's not going to look the best, but this is just to show you guys that it works. So now, remember, obviously it's not fully PES compatible, so they're going to be walking out of places that aren't normal. But still, when you get in the game, it's still the same stadium. And you can see you've got all the proper banners, fans are looking the part. It's all there. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you do it in its glory. It's as simple as that. It works a treat, as I say. Now, if you are on PC, someone asked me this. Let me just tell you a quick hint as well. If you want to get a really good view of a stadium, take a nice screenshot or whatever, go into replay. And this is if you have an NVIDIA card, an NVIDIA graphics card, and you hit, basically, to zoom into the ball. Now, once you're in this moment, if you hit Alt F2, okay, hold down Alt, hit F2, you will go into Ansel, which will enable you to pretty much do whatever you want with the camera. I can change my field of view, and I can pull it right out, and you can get a really nice, crazy good-looking view of the stadium. So that's pretty much how you use NVIDIA Ansel. Go on to replay, hit Alt F2, and there you go. You can pretty much do whatever you want. Check out the stadium, look at it in all its finery, and there we have it. Anyway, hope you guys did enjoy the tutorial, and at least hoped it helped. If it didn't, let me know, but it really shouldn't be too difficult. And if there's any new stuff that comes out, obviously I'll whack out more tutorials in the future. But until next time, subscribe for more, and take care.